So tell me if this sounds familiar. It's like 11 p.m. at night. You're sitting there restless. Your mind is racing. There's some big problem or decision in your life that you keep second guessing. So what do? You whip out your phone and you start talking to Mr. GPT or Senor Claude, hoping that it's going to solve all your problems. It's crazy because when I first started using AI, like a year or two ago, it felt like it was this massive advantage over other guys. But then little by little, I started feeling less like I was a boss making these strategic moves and more like I was this little boy who could no longer think for myself or make my own decisions. And after some months of operating like this, I started to notice that I was relying on AI, not just to do business strategy and figure out how much inventory to order, but also for personal decisions like where I should relocate my family next. And then one day, after I'd been sitting there literally for hours talking to my phone, arguing with Claude as it kept changing its position, it hit me that it had clearly become a net negative in my life, just slowing me down, causing me to trust myself less and think less for myself. And look, part of the problem is the AI itself. These platforms like GPT and Claude, they're considered LLMs, which means that as they answer you, they're just predicting the next word one at a time based on the last words that they said. So there's a real limitation to how, intelligent they actually are. And that's why they constantly forget key context when you're chatting with them. It's also why a lot of software companies have actually started to rehire programmers that they previously replaced with AI, because these types of hallucinations, they're inevitable even as the AI models are improving. Anyway, when I realized this a few months ago, I quit AI full stop. Didn't use it for my businesses, didn't use it for my personal life. And it was this immediate positive impact where I just started moving faster. And as decisions came up, I just trusted my intuition, made the decision, moved on. I didn't have to, run every little thing by my phone before I made a call. That being said, a few weeks ago, there was something I had to do. And I opened Claude back up for the first time. And that's when I realized that it can be an effective tool for very specific use cases. I just recreated the AI that monitors customer support emails for the Beastly app, which is my fitness app. And now it links automatically in the back end with our subscription management so it can instantly help users when they have common issues. We also started using it for Edge Lifestyle to forecast inventory. So when we're placing a new bulk order, we can more accurately predict what we're actually going to sell through. The point is, AI is at its absolute best when you're asking it to complete a very, very specifically defined task. It cannot think for you. I will say something else I use it for a lot is just doing really quick research. Maybe you're having some health concern and you can quickly feed it your exact symptoms and your blood pressure or whatever, but it's not making any decisions for me. And that is the first thing that I've removed from my life this past year, relying on artificial intelligence. And it's funny because as I've grown older and wiser, I've realized that usually the way to create forward momentum and optimize your life more, it's not about adding more things into it. It's actually about removing the waste. That being said, the second thing I stopped doing is ignoring the hate. So I think something that all of us have experienced is as we start to make progress in our life, a lot of times the people around us who used to, be behind us, cheering for us all the time, they start to take these subtle jabs at us. I think the first time I experienced it was when I, finally locked in on my fitness routine and my diet. When I'd go out with my friends on the weekend, I wouldn't want to drink that much anymore because I'd want to get some sleep and get my workout in the next day. And they'd start talking shit to me like, bro, take it easy. Take that stick out your butt, get hammered with us. It's all right. You can miss the workout tomorrow. It's not a big deal, bro. And then really the last 10 years since I've chosen to document my journey on YouTube, it's been a lot more in my face as myself and Julia started to level up and grow. That's when the hate comments started rolling in. Here's a couple quick ones I just pulled up. This channel has gone to hell, seriously. Moving here, buying this, selling that. 2019 was the best in my opinion. All right. You sold out and became disingenuous. This is the version of you I would rather be with, and not the alpha male CEO who is basically a mini Andrew Tate. Damn. Now, until recently, I just categorized all of this as hate comes from below. I'm going to ignore it. It doesn't matter. which I think is a useful lens, as you're starting to gain momentum and level up. But recently I realized that two things can be true at once. Hate can come from below almost all of the time, but there can also be some truth and some feedback in every piece of hate. For example, in my early fitness journey, I definitely was a bit obsessive and anal about not missing a workout. I was probably using it as a means of control because for the first time in my life, I felt like I had some control. Like my buddies talking smack, that they weren't wrong. At the same time, those guys likely didn't feel great about their own bodies, and seeing someone else prioritize that, well, they got to tell themselves a story that it's better to enjoy getting drunk than having that body. The comments about the houses and the cars, honestly, fair. We've gone overboard moving and changing houses the last few years. It has not been optimal. Trust me, I am more aware of this than anybody else. Now, this Alpha CEO one, this is interesting because it was a comment that was recently left, but it was recently left on this really, really old video.
What's up, guys? It's David with How to Beast. And in this video, I want to review why I honestly believe that learning game and learning how to pick up women.
So that's me back in the early days, this very raw version of David who had not built anything yet. Now, what he's saying is partially true. When the Tate content blew up a few years ago, I definitely made more content about masculinity and gender dynamics because that was trending, and that is the YouTube game. But the fact this guy prefers David 1.0, before the growth, before the businesses, before any of the payoff, it just shows that some people, they don't actually want to see you succeed, man. They want to see you stay on exactly the same level forever so that they feel comfortable with their own lack of progress. The point is, the hate is almost never fully wrong. So now I try and hear the feedback, but also recognize who it's coming from. Now, real quick, changing gears, something that I've recently actually started to do that's had a massive impact on my productivity is using these guys right here, these Ultra pouches, which happen to be the sponsor of today's video. So look, usually when someone pulls out a little container like this that has, one of these pouches inside and they put it in their lip, it's a Zen or something else that has nicotine in it, is not exactly healthy for you. Not these though. These are completely different. You see, Ultra pouches have 6 natural nootropics inside that enhance focus, mental processing, and even improve your brain's ability to learn. So the way I use them, typically in the morning I have some caffeine to get myself going, but usually in the afternoon I start hitting a wall. I can't focus, but I got way more work to do. That's when I take one of these pouches, pop it in my lip. I'm a big fan of this blue raz flavor right here. It tastes delicious. But once it's been in there for 5 minutes, I start to feel this very calm focus and this locked in feeling kick in, and it lasts for like an hour or two. And because there's no caffeine, I can take them later in the day. There's no jitters. It's not going to mess with my sleep at all. Anyway, these have been a really nice addition to my daily routine. If you want to try them out, just scan that QR code on the screen or click the first link in description and use code HOWTOBEAST. That's going to get you an additional 15% off the intro offer, which is basically 50% off your first order. Click that link, try them out for yourself, and now let's get back to the video. The third thing I recently stopped is hoping people would be who I want them to be. So I'm sure that all of y'all have a few friends like I do. Genuinely good dudes. You like hanging out with them. They got your back. But you probably have one friend who, whenever you ask him for a favor, he gets really fussy and he makes this big deal about it. Or maybe you have another friend who, whenever you make plans with him, you just already know that 1 or 2 days before, there's like a 70% chance that he's going to be overwhelmed and stressed out and he's going to flake on you. He's going to bail. And it can just get really easy to start anticipating these things beforehand. And then you start developing resentment towards your friends. And I think with women, it's even worse in the early dating stages, but for sure when you have a girlfriend or a wife. Because even if you have a really good one who's truly loyal to you and she respects you, women just tend to have a lot of the same downsides where when they get emotional, just all logic goes out the window. It's literally impossible to reason with them. Or when they do something wrong, oftentimes they fail to take responsibility, at least at first. But this can just become very, very frustrating to deal with. And I'll be honest, brother, these moments used to test me. They used to really test me. And oftentimes I would fail that test. I would lose my cool. I would be like, this is such a basic, logical thing for us to deal with, but we can't because of you. And then you start to resent your girl, and you start to have these thoughts like, fuck this bitch. I would just be better off being single right now. And I understand for the women watching that you might feel that men share certain tendencies that also piss you off. Fair enough. The point is, there's this unfortunate fact of life, which is that people will constantly fail to live up to your expectations for them in your personal life, in your business life, and in your romantic life too. And that's why recently I've made the strategic decision in my head, and this has been a game changer. I've made the decision to consciously adjust my expectations for people based on the real world evidence that they're giving me. So now when they do something that in the past would piss me off, it doesn't anymore, man. You can't expect a tree not to be a tree. That's what I tell myself. You can't expect a tree not to have leaves on it, but to walk out and hope that it has a bunch of mustaches on it or something, brother. That's not how trees are. So now when I make plans with a guy who frequently bails, I don't treat those plans as solid. I keep a backup plan for those days. When Julia gets emotional, like all women do, I no longer try and solve the problem in real time. I realize that my biggest weapon is not logic. It's just how calm I can stay, because I know my calm presence and being non-reactive, eventually she's gonna follow that lead and she's gonna calm down too. And when you can start to honestly see people for who they are, the good, but also the bad, nobody can throw you off anymore. Now, the fourth thing I stopped doing is trying to be overly ambitious and do too much. So you gotta realize, for most of my life, I just accepted mediocrity, right? In school, I tried to do the bare minimum to still get decent grades. Like literally, I'd be doing the homework in class as the teacher was assigning it. And in university, I specifically chose, honestly, economics as my major because I knew that I could just not go to class, then I could show up for the midterm and the final test, do some studying the night before, and I could do decently, and I did. But then after graduation, when I chose to start this self-improvement journey and this YouTube channel, that's when everything changed. And I started to realize, like, holy shit, I am capable of like way more than I ever even thought was possible for myself. It started with my body, for the first time ever achieving noticeable muscle definition and a six-pack, then overcoming my inadequacies with women, starting to date regularly, then breaking through my public shyness by documenting my life on camera, and then building all these businesses around it. Like the dominoes started to collapse one after another after another. And the entire time my mindset was, this year is gonna be bigger than the last year. I'm just getting started, right? I was in the warrior phase. I had that warrior mentality, which is absolutely critical, especially at first, because it takes an insane amount of discipline and focus and just sheer work to actually change your life. But between starting Edge and then launching the Beastly app and then the dating coaching program and then Gains Club supplements, this mindset of like growth over everything, it turned from an asset into a liability. I had bitten off way more than I could chew, and now I was balancing 4 businesses, and because of that, they were all suffering. Like I was bringing mediocrity back into my life. Edge Lifestyle went through a phase where for a year or two, we barely released any new designs, and we just leaned on pushing the advertising budget to sell the same jeans and joggers. And the crazy thing is, when I look back at the early days, like the reason that I got this momentum and started changing myself is because I tackled one specific area at a time. Like I locked in fully on the gym, not missing workouts to a fault, tracking every calorie. And then once I saw my body improve, then I locked in on dating, and I was a head case, walking around outside, not allowing any attractive girl to pass by without trying to approach her. But that shattered the low confidence I had with women quickly. Then it was YouTube. I committed to 2 videos per week, every single week, starting January 2017, trying to make every video better than the last one. And that's why this channel shot up to 1 million subscribers. It was not a coincidence. And that's also why the last couple of years I've had to make some difficult calls. We closed down the dating coaching program, which was tough because it was really meaningful working with guys one-on-one and helping them find their significant other and get that part of their life handled. And then Gains Club. One second. I still miss this Greens Plus test powder, And I know a lot of you do too. That was maybe the toughest decision of my life, closing that down. And it's not because it failed. Like, it had so much potential. It's because I had to consolidate my focus to a smaller amount of things. That's why Edge has revived itself, man. We've been dropping all types of new clothing the last couple of years. By the way, right now I'm wearing the new Positano shirt, which is part of the new Positano set that just dropped. It's selling out quick, but still available on the website. And it's also allowed me to take on this fatherhood chapter. I got 2 kids now, bro. How crazy is that? But I'm able to take that on in stride because of this consolidation. So my question for you is, are you trying to do too many different things at the same time right now? Because if you are, I can promise you that's the #1 reason you're not seeing the results and the progress as fast as you would like. That being said, I appreciate you watching this video. Don't stop watching now, though. You need to check out That's One Next. The YouTube algorithm has recommended that one specifically for you. If you're new to the channel, click down there to subscribe, as I drop 2 new videos every single week and you don't want to miss them. I'll talk to you in the next video. Stay beastly.